welcome to today's special podcast. Um, what do you always do when, like, a girl, okay, or it could be a boy or a man, for that matter, in case you are a girl watching this particular video. But what happens when someone decides to ignore you or to simply not reply to your message? All right. So, in a case of a relationship, for instance, um, you probably already dating this particular person. Okay, so you are dating, and then all of a sudden, this particular person started pulling back. All right, you texting, they are not replying, or they'll reply in an hour time or in 3 hours time. They just started, disrespecting you. Why do I call it a disrespect? I call it a disrespect simply because, um, except if, you know, for instance, you are seeking a job and you apply to a company, all right? Your employer might take, because they are dealing with other recruiters, right? I'm not saying that is even right, but they are dealing with other recruiters and they might not have the time to even select your application, to call you for an interview or anything. So that could be understandable. Besides, you are the one in need of a job. So even if they don't respond, you will have to follow up on your application, all right, and even ask if they would need any additional information from you to make a decision, for instance. Or sometimes in a case where, for instance, you are dealing with, let's say, I don't know how to put it. Let's say you want to meet, sorry, a high profile person. Okay. Just imagine if I want to invite the president of France to my apartment for a podcast on meaningful levity. Do you really think this would be possible? And just imagine the stress that I will have to go through because this high profile person cares about his security. He cannot just come into my room for a podcast. First of all, who am I? Not to say I'm not important. I'm very, very important. But in comparison to him, we are not of the same class. Like why would he just visit an ordinary person? He's a diplomat, right? So in case you want to meet such a high profile person and you text, you request for an appointment and you are denied, then you just understand that this person is busy, this person cares about his security, he cannot just meet anybody at any time. He's a very busy person, traveling from one country to the other. All right, so that would be understandable. So you might just wait till he shows you some favor by honoring your invitation to meet or whatever. But in the case where we are talking about a relationship, we are talking about friends, we are talking about just, whatever, like your colleagues, then it would be blatant disrespect should they not reply to you days after you send them a message or hours after you send them a message. All right. So in such a situation, what do you do? First of all, I would suggest that you confront those people and actually point out your worries. All right. Let them understand that um, you don't really feel good about what they are doing, but you make sure you are polite. Don't come across as if you're attacking them or criticizing them. But just let them know that of late I don't know what is happening. Okay, probably but I just felt like, you've been a little bit off. We don't really get to chat as usual. I hope everything is okay. This person might change after you approach them. But if they don't and they continue, some people say rather, if they continue, then you should find a way to play the same game with them. What that means is that when they text you in 3 hours time, you make sure you text them in 5 hours or 4 hours time, if not 3 hours time too. But I wouldn't recommend you do that, simply because you cannot play with the devil on the same ground, right? You cannot play with the devil in terms of manipulation and you think you'll win, because this person is an expert, right? And you should not try to play that game and think you'll win. Moreover, there's no point in forcing things, right? When you force things, they end up breaking. Because you should learn to be with people that appreciate you, and that actually miss your presence anytime you are away. Don't try to force yourself to be with people. When you are trying to force yourself to be with people and it's not working, you should simply understand that you don't deserve each other. Probably these people come into your life will turn your life into a turmoil. Or probably you might do the same to them. You are not just compatible. All right? So what I'm trying to say, if you are trying to get them into your life and they are giving you these signs, then just say thank you for showing me these red flags right now. So I just continue. In case you're already in a relationship and they're doing this, confront them, let them know. If they ignore your concerns and continue with that attitude, then you just move on and pick somebody that would respect you for who you are. That would actually give you the honor that you deserve, so you may be able to live a happy life. In fact, I was wondering, have you ever been in a situation where you had a great conversation with a girl and everything was just moving on smoothly, till the point where you even felt like you both were just into each other, and then you started viewing this girl probably as your future wife or your potential girlfriend or whatever, and then you decided to give it a try, by simply asking her out. You probably said, you know what, this is my number. If you don't mind, you could reach out any of these days when you're available, so that we could hang out and have lunch together, or probably have a drink or whatever, or maybe whatever, however, you go out on your dates. That is up to you. All right. Some people go for coffee, some people, the purpose of today's video is not to say what is the best approach with regards to taking a girl out, right? Whether you should go to a coffee shop, or you should, you should go to a cafe, or you should go to your favorite restaurant in the corner, or you should go to cinema together. That is not the purpose of today's video. All right. But like when you ask the girl out, okay, however you ask the girl out, that's not important, like I said. But when you ask the girl that when you gave her your number and asked if you could hang out one of these days, or when you probably instead of giving your number, you probably just asked her to give you her number. So you were like, okay, I was thinking of maybe hanging out one of these days, you know, to have lunch together and to get to know each other, right? And then you were like, oh, could you please give me your number, or can I have your number? Right? You don't have to be so, well, when you are like too polite, sometimes it comes across as being weak, right? And being less confident, right? So it's okay to be polite, but to still don't come across as being a simp or being too needy and that kind of thing, right? So you probably just said, if you could give me your number so that we could hang out one of these days and have lunch and get to know each other, something like that. And then to your biggest surprise, the girl told you, you know what, I'm sorry, but do you have Snapchat or do you have Facebook? I don't actually, you were like, you probably might have just said, yeah, sure, sure. Though that wasn't what you really wanted, right? Or you probably stood to your ground and said, you know what, um, or you probably, though you probably even have Snapchat or Facebook, you probably lied by saying, pretending not to have any of these, just to make sure she gives you her number, or you openly just made her understand that, you know what, I don't take social media from girls, or I don't take Facebook, no Snapchat or whatever. I would prefer your number instead, So you were probably bold enough to tell her this. All right. Well, I hope you got some value from this particular video. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share, and see you in the next one.